Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is the mucking fun day of week 42 of being alive in 2024. We have some news about everything today. This is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our news stories 10 to 15 minutes before we start without any caffeine in our bodies. So let's read out those headlines. Today on Before Coffee, let's read out all of the winners of the 2024 Nobel Prizes.
China threatens Taiwan with 125 warplanes. And Iceland has election.
The faces of the march in Spain. We cannot make our own life path.
And we have winter weather news and news about people who don't believe the weather.
In culture news, newly found Jimi Hendrix tapes give fans a chance to own song that only they can listen to.
And it's National Real Sugar Day. None of that fake crap for me. Real sugar for me. October 14th, which is also Columbus Day. 2024 on Before Coffee.
It's time to read the first story. Not really a story, more like a news bulletin as we list off all of the winners of the 2024 Nobel Prizes. So we've already talked about one when it began, but we'll go over that again for anybody who didn't see. I think it was like Wednesday's or maybe last Monday's episode. I think it's been a whole week of them releasing names and saying, and now you guys have to come to Sweden in December to get your prizes. So let's go ahead and read these out. This is by the Times, or Time, sorry, just Time. By them, all of them, everyone who works there wrote this list. The 2024 Nobel Prize announcements began on October 7th, recognizing groundbreaking contributions to humanity. The first prize in the category of physiology or medicine went to a pair of American scientists for their work in discovering microRNAs. That's the one we've already talked about. The second prize in the category of physics went to an American and British Canadian for pioneering work on machine learning. So the rest, and so here is like the full details on every single person who's won the Nobel Prize, which was established in 1901. So Victor Ambros and Gary Ruvkin last Monday were awarded the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for the discovery of the microRNAs, a class of small molecule essentials for gene regulation. Their research has uncovered how these microRNAs influence cellular behavior and contribute to various health challenges, including cancer and heart disease. As the understanding of these tiny regulators expand, so does the potential for innovative therapeutic approaches to complex medical conditions. Ambros and Ruvkin's work began in 1990 and when they studied the roundworms, uncovering the intricate relationships between specific genes and the regulatory role of microRNAs. This discovery revealed that microRNAs can bind to messenger RNA, influencing the production of protein critical for cellular function. Messenger RNA, of course, are also called mRNAs, which is what the COVID vaccine uses to save your life. The findings, published in Cell in 1993, opened new avenues for understanding genetic communication within cells. Thomas Perlman, Secretary General of the Nobel Committee for Physiology or Medicine, calls their work truly fundamental for all physiology. The physics winner was John J. Hopefield and Jeffrey E. Hinton, who were awarded last Tuesday the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics for their use of statistical physics concepts in the development of artificial neural networks. Artificial neural networks play a fundamental role in machine learning and artificial intelligence by allowing the machine to find and recognize patterns in extremely large data sets. Wow. At a press conference, Ellen Moons, chair of the Nobel Committee for Physics, explained the significance of their work. These artificial neural networks have been in use to advance research across physics topics as diverse as particle physics, material science, and astrophysics. They have also become part of our daily lives, for instance in facial recognition and language translation. She also warned that the powerful technology advancement comes with a risk. However, while machine learning has enormous benefits in rapid development, has also raised concern about our future. Collectively, humans carry the responsibility for using this new technology in a safe, ethical way for the greatest benefit of humankind, she said. So, Hinton was on the inaugural Time 100 AI list in 2023. So they could have guessed one of the winners, Geoffrey Hinton, for this Nobel Prize. Next comes in chemistry. David Baker and Demis Hassabis and John Jumper were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry last Wednesday for their work predicting and designing the structures for proteins. Per a press release issued by the Royal Swedish Academy of Science, Baker has succeeded with the almost impossible feat of building entirely new kinds of proteins. Hassabis and Jumper have developed an AI model to solve a 50-year problem, predicting proteins' complex structures. These discoveries hold enormous potential. Hailing from the U.S., Baker was born in Seattle, Washington, and Jumper was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. Meanwhile, I was like, wait, AR is Arkansas. Meanwhile, Hassabis hails from London, the UK. Hassabis and Jumper featured on the 2024 Time 100 AI list as well. Commenting on the trio's achievements, Heiner Linke, the chair of the Nobel Committee for Chemistry, said, "One of the discoveries being recognized this year concerns the construction of spectacular proteins. The other is about fulfilling a 50-year-old dream, predicting protein structures from their amino acid sequence. Both of these discoveries open up vast possibilities." So before now, we didn't know what a protein structure would look like until it developed and then we looked at it in a microscope. But now, with this AI model, we can take the amino acid sequence, put that in an AI, and it can say, the protein sequence will most likely look like this. And then you can design all sorts of things based on that structure without having to collect millions and millions of samples to make sure you get the structure right and all that extra work. You can just quickly get the image and say, okay, we know what the protein structure looks like. Now let's do whatever we're doing because we know what it looks like. Literature. The Nobel Prize for Literature on Thursday was awarded to Han Kang for her intense poetic prose focusing on historical traumas, colonial violence, and the fragility of humanity, per a press release from the Royal Swedish Academy. The South Korean author is known for works such as The Vegetarian, which won the International Booker Prize in 2016, The White Book, Human Acts, and Greek Lessons. Kang, 53, has been a writer for over 30 years, but The Vegetarian was her first novel to be translated into English in 2015 and led to widespread acclaim and attention. Han Kang writes intense, lyrical prose that is both tender and brutal, said Anna Karin Palm, a co-opted member of the Nobel Committee for Literature, in an interview with the Nobel Prize Museum after the announcement. There's continuity as to the themes that is quite remarkable, but at the same time a huge stylistic variation that makes every book a new aspect or a new expression of those central themes. So, I guess check out her work, like The Vegetarian, which is in English if you can read. Maybe it's been translated to other languages as well as English. And if you want to experience some lyrical prose. For the peace, so this is the big one everyone else talks about, the Nobel Peace Prize. The Japanese organization Nihon Hidankyo was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize on last Friday, chosen by the Norwegian Nobel Committee. The organization won for its efforts to imagine and achieve a world free of nuclear weapons through the elevating the voices of those who survived Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombs. That's right, they're still alive. There's still people out there who were alive for that event. Soon after the atomic bombs in August 1945, survivors, also known as the Hibakusha, started a grassroots movement and worked to create widespread opposition to nuclear weaponry. Nihon Hidankyo became the largest and most influential Hibakusha organization, providing accounts and sending yearly delegations to the United Nations to testify about the devastation they experienced. The hibakusha help us to describe the indescribable, to think the unthinkable, and to somehow grasp the incomprehensible pain and suffering caused by nuclear weapons, the committee said in a press release last Friday. So congratulations for that. And it's a noble goal, because there's a lot of people out there who, I won't say they're against, they're for nuclear weapons, but they're against the idea that it was wrong to drop them. I think turning people into atoms is wrong, no matter who they are. Even if they were Nazis or fascists or whatever, some of those people were just children who went to school that day. They weren't exactly, committed to the war effort in the same way. Darren Ashimoglu, I apologize for that pronunciation, has won the Economic Sciences Nobel Prize, along with Simon Johnson and James A. Robinson, in memory of Alfred Nobel on Monday, today, October 14th. In a press release, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences said of the decision, this year's laureates in the economic sciences have demonstrated the importance of societal institutions for the country's prosperity. Societies with a poor rule of law and institutions that exploit the population do not generate growth or change for the better. The laureates' research helps us understand why. Wait, I mean, it's sad that you had to do a study to discover this information, but yeah, it makes sense that if there's chaos everywhere and everyone doesn't believe in each other, that society fails. Complete collapse of a country because you don't have trust. Yeah. Acemoglu was born in 1967 and hails from Istanbul, Turkey. Johnson was born in 1963 and comes from Sheffield in the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Robinson was born in 1960 and was affiliated with the University of Chicago at the time of the war. Robinson wasn't born anywhere. What? He's affiliated with the University of Chicago. What, was he born there in the test tube? We don't know where he was born. It's like they don't want to reveal his birth. Like they give everyone else his birth, but this guy.
Somewhere in the solar system he was born.
Yeah. Supposedly he was drawn in. No, that was a different guy. Okay, I should have looked up his full name. This is so funny that they're like, he's affiliated with the University of Chicago, and that's all you need to know about him. Okay? That's all you need to know. Maybe he's dead. No, he's definitely alive. He's British. Yeah, okay. He's British. He's from the UK. There you go. I don't know why it was so hard for them to say that. But those are all the people who've won the Nobel Prizes this year in 2024. So either go read their studies, or I guess wait for the big award ceremony where they get what was it again? They give like $100K or something for just doing the work to help further humanity's existence on the planet. And well, maybe except for AI people who might be building our downfall, but we'll see in the future. Damn you guys! You've discovered how to map protein and you ruined our lives. But that's it for my story. On to yours.
All right. From Nobel and peace to China and threatening war.
Yay!
Not a great segue, but whatever. China, this is from AP News, Johnson Lai and Huazhong Wu. China deploys a record 125 warplanes and large-scale military drill and warning to Taiwan. More saber rattling from Beijing. China employed a record 125 aircraft, as well as a Liaoning aircraft carrier and ships, and large-scale military exercise surrounding Taiwan and its outlying islands on Monday, simulating the sealing off of key ports, a move that underscores the tense situation in Taiwan, Strait, officials said. China's defense ministry said the drills were a response to the Taiwanese president's refusal to accept Beijing's demand that self-governed Taiwan acknowledge itself as part of the People's Republic of China under the rule of the Communist Party. Taiwan's Minister of National Defense said 90 of the aircraft, including warplanes, helicopters, and drones, were spotted within Taiwan's air defense identification zone. The single-day record counted aircraft from 5:02 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Excuse me. Shipping traffic was operating as normal, the ministry said. The drill came 4 days after Taiwan celebrated the founding of its government on its National Day, when Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te said in a speech that China has no right to represent Taiwan and declared his commitment to resist annexation or encroachment. Our military will definitely deal with the threat from China appropriately, Joseph Wu, the Secretary General of Taiwan Security Council, said at the forum in Taipei. Threatening our other countries with force violates the basic spirit of the United Nations Charter to resolve disputes through peaceful means. Taiwan's President has called on China's to cease military provocations that undermine regional peace and stability and stop threatening Taiwan's democracy and freedom. A map aired on China's state broadcaster CCTV showed 6 large blocks encircling Taiwan, indicating where the military drills were being held, along with circles around Taiwan's outlying islands. Wow. Taiwan's defense ministry said 6 areas focused on key strategic locations in and around the island. China deployed its Liaoning aircraft carrier for the drills, and CCTV showed a Jet J-15 fighter taking off from the deck of the carrier. China's Liberation Army Eastern Theater Command, that's a long name, spokesman Senior Captain Li Ji said Monday that the drill was successfully completed. Li said the Navy, Army, Air Force, and Missile Corps were all mobilized for the drills, which were integrated in the operation. It is a major warning to those who back Taiwan independence and signify our determination to safeguard our national sovereignty, Li said in a statement of public on the service's public media channel. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ning said at a daily briefing that China did not consider relations with Taiwan a diplomatic issue, in keeping with the refusal to recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state. I can tell you that Taiwan independence is incompatible with peace in the Taiwan Strait as fire with water. Provocation by the Taiwan independence forces will surely be met with countermeasures, Mao said. Dude's name is Mao. That's not a good sign. Taiwan's defense ministry said it developed warships to designate spots in the ocean to carry out surveillance and stand at the ready. It also deployed mobile missile and radar groups to land on land to track the vessels at sea. It said as of Monday morning, they had tracked 25 Chinese warplanes and 7 warships and 4 Chinese government ships, though it did not specify what types of ships they were. On the streets of Taipei, residents were undeterred. I don't worry, I don't panic either. It doesn't have any impact on me, Chang Chai-Rui said. Another Taipei resident, Jeff Wang, said, Taiwan is very stable now, and I am used to China's military exercises. I have been threatened by this kind of threat since I was a child, and I'm used to it. The U.S., Taiwan's biggest official ally, called China's response to Lai's speech unwarranted. We call on Beijing's government to act with restraint and avoid any further actions that may undermine peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and the broader region, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said in a statement. China held similar large-scale exercises after Lai was inaugurated in May. Lai continues the 8-year rule of the Democratic Progressive Party that rejects China's demand that it recognize Taiwan as part of China. Also on Monday, China's Taiwan Affairs Office announced it was sanctioning 2 Taiwanese individuals, Puma Shen, Robert Sisao, for promoting Taiwanese independence. Shen is the co-founder of the Kuma Academy, a nonprofit group that trains civilians on wartime readiness. Sao donated $32 million to fund the Academy's training courses. Shen and Sao are forbidden to travel to China, including Hong Kong. China also held massive military exercises around Taiwan and simulated a blockade in 2022 after a visit to the island by Nancy Pelosi, who was then Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. China routinely states that Taiwan independence is a dead end and that annexation by Beijing is historical inevitability. China's military has increased its encircling of Taiwan's skies and waters in the past few years, holding joint drills and warships and fighter jets on a near daily basis near the island. Wow. Taiwan was a Japanese colony before being unified with China at the end of World War II. It split away in 1949 when Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists fled to the island as Mao Zedong's communists defeated them in civil war and took power. And there's your history of Taiwan and why it's there. And a real quick story, Iceland. We've had people calling for snap elections in places like, or no confidence votes in places like Canada and France. Well, Iceland appears headed for a snap election after Prime Minister, this is from AP News with nobody's name on it. Iceland appears headed for a snap election after Prime Minister, what's his name? Bjarni Benediktsson pulled the plug on the Nordic nation's fragile governing coalition. The Prime Minister expected to ask President Hala Tómasdóttir on Monday to formally dissolve Iceland's parliament, the Alþingi, for an election on November 30th, national broadcaster RUV reported. Benediktson's center-right independent party has governed since April when centrist progressive party and the left green movement. So it's got a coalition. He said the coalition partner disagreed over issues including immigration, energy policy, and the economy. Iceland is a wind-lashed island near the Arctic Circle with a population of 385,000 people. The country suffered through years of economic upheaval after its debt-swollen banks collapsed during the 2008 financial crisis, but it has become a major draw for tourists eager to see its glaciers and waterfalls and northern lights, which you can see in the southern United States now, and its frequent active volcanoes. So there's Iceland news, the political intrigue news, and back to you.
All right. Well, I love when the other countries want to start wars over things that nobody else wants. Makes me really happy. Mm-hmm. But
I sent you a movie clip though.
I don't know if there's ever a solution to the Taiwan stuff. I don't know what it is, because just leave it alone.
Well, it's similar to Crimea. Let's put it in the Crimea realm, which Putin just snuck in and grabbed Crimea while we weren't looking.
Yeah.
Or something. But and then since he got away with that mostly, he decided to invade Ukraine in totality.
Yeah.
So maybe compare it to Ukraine and how we would react. Like, okay, China.
Good luck.
This is why. Of course, the Taiwan thing is they make a lot of our computer chips, and we would be totally screwed with Taiwan. This is why Joe Biden passed the CHIPS Act, start making more chips in the United States. And of course, Republicans are like, "Yay! Once we make our own chips, we can turn our back in Taiwan." And you're saying the quiet part out loud, asshole. Anyway,
yeah, whoops! You're not supposed to say that. I mean. I can totally understand, like, this. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in, that we only care about the people that make us stuff or give us stuff economically, right? If you're not doing that, we don't care about you, which is why, Syria and Sudan and what is it now? Those guys don't give us anything. Palestine, no, they don't give us anything. Who cares? They're not going to say that, but that's how they feel, right? Oh no, those poor people getting murdered? Well, those poor people getting murdered didn't give us any economic, goods. So, whatever. We'll say it's a shame, and we'll say, oh, it's too bad, and then we'll move on. And unfortunately, that's kind of the same attitude everyone in the United States.
Look at Haiti.
I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of Haiti. Yeah, a lot of people have the attitude in the U.S. You're not giving anything to me? I don't give a shit about you then. Where's my stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Where's the stuff you can give me?
All these right-wingers hate Haitian immigrants, right? But they don't want any federal, they don't want any government aid going to Haiti, right? We don't want to help them. We don't want to help that country. We hate Nicaraguan immigrants. We don't want to help that country. No. Oh, no.
What about the people?
Yeah. What are we doing spending money on foreign aid?
It's this whole idea that, like, if you were born in, like, a different country, it must be something the universe is against you, right?
Yeah.
It's
What's
a
wrong with
personal
you being born in
failing.
that country?
Yeah, it was a personal failing. You should have stop doing that. Stop. You should have been like me and born in the United States by pure and total complete luck. There's an argument out there, actually, that, it's a karma-based system here, and, like, every person who dies from an unnecessary war gets born in a better country when their soul gets recycled through a, that's what I like to think, because otherwise everything sucks. Anyways,
misinformation. That's our
enough
biggest
about
enemy,
that.
Misinformation.
Let's talk about people who do live in a great country. For at least, I think most Spanish people believe they live in a decent country, not developing country or whatever you want to say. But unfortunately, it's not perfect, and they're still dealing with terrible a housing crisis. And they are marching on Madrid and asking them, hey, give us the right to make a life in this country, god damn it. I'm sure the Netherlands is already having plenty of the same kind of housing crisis marches. Everyone wants to live in, northern, southern, anywhere in Europe. But unfortunately, they don't have the land or the housing to support everybody. This is from Andre Ortez, Juan Pablo Quintero, Pablo Gonzalez on El País. Now this is tens of thousands of people have demonstrated yesterday on Sunday in the streets of Madrid, which was also October 13th, demand that housing should be a business, should not be a business. You know what? I agree. I've always agreed with that. And to ask for a reduction in rental prices. I would rather all the houses be state-owned and handed out like, I don't know, like rations, than I'm going to own 5,000 properties, raise the rent so that nobody will ever buy them, and then let them sit there while no one lives in them, and then arrest anybody who tries to live in the houses that are empty because I won't lower the rent prices. That's at least happening in the US. I don't know if it's happening in Spain, but there are what we call housing oligarchies all over Europe, originally Russian. In Amsterdam, a lot of houses were owned by Russian oligarchs, and you couldn't find anywhere to live in Amsterdam unless you wanted to pay out some oligarch way too much money to live there. But I think that's ended now because of the Ukraine war. So, associations, left-wing political parties, and civil society have participated in the mobilization called under the slogan, "Housing is a right, not a business," and in which the reduction of rental prices was insistently demanded. Below, El País has interviewed some of the attendees who went to the march. Adrian Espina from Alcorcón, who's 29 years old, is the former coordinator of the Alcorcón Tenants Union and is currently a salaried worker in the union action in the southern area of Madrid. Espina hopes that yesterday's demonstration will have the same turnout as the marches in the defense of health, and the issue of housing will be put on center of political attention. This demonstration has to be a basis for organizing the future rent strike, he says. Raquel Anula, 49 years old, has lived in her flat in Hortaleza all her life. In 2021, she received an eviction notice after the owners of the land in the neighborhood sold the house to a vulture fund. Great, they probably got pestered and pestered. Like, fine, take the land, stop bothering me. Along with 800 houses. So there's some vulture fund out there who owns more than 800 houses and saying, all right, we've raised your rent tenfold. You better pay, you don't have anywhere to live. Huh? What is this happening? This should be illegal. Same owners then refused Anula's purchase offers. A few days ago, they called my lawyer to tell her how much money I would get out of there for. I told them I don't have a price, it's just that I want to live in what has been my home for my entire life. Yeah, but we could make way more money from you if we raise the rent and sell it to somebody we actually want to give. Who needs valuable tenants who will pay you a rent for their entire lives? Ugh, that's annoying. I could be making more money if I just raised the price. Why would I just want loyalty? The launch has been proposed until resolve of the provincial court in 2022, until it took advantage of the housing vulnerability law and since then has given 30% of her salary to the new owner. I earn less than the minimum at 49. I give what I can, she stresses, and a smile breaks out on her face when she sees the Fortaleza Neighborhood Association is adding people to the already large demonstration that has begun at Atocha Station. Sylvia Gonzalez lives with her partner in a house that her grandfather owned, and for which she pays around 600 euros to her father. My father cannot give me the house, so I pay this rent, which is affordable, she says. She is a temporary teacher, so she sometimes works full-time and other times part-time. She considers herself privileged, although she says she would like to be able to buy a house, or at least imagine doing so, but the prices are completely out of her reach. Luckily, I have a decent salary, but it's not enough to buy a house. Yeah, not only are houses unaffordable, but there's a bunch of tax regulations that they pass on giving your houses away to your family members, where you end up having to pay, 25% of the price of the house as to the bank or whatever, because even when you own your house, you don't own your house. So you can't just hand it off to somebody else, just give them the deed and say, you know what, you can live here now. And you can just take care of me because I'm your father. The end. Not allowed. You need to pay taxes for that shit. She compares her life at 35 with that of her parents. At my age, they'd already had their house paid for. But for me, it's impossible to even buy one, Gonzalez said, who is the vice president of the La Unidad de Villa Verde Neighborhood Association, emphasizing the state entrenches in needing to ensure decent housing. Housing has become a commodity and not a right, as the Spanish Constitution says. He says and insists that the state must commit to generating policies that facilitate using access to housing. Social housing is built and made available to citizens, particularly young people. Mamadou Diangue, originally from Senegal, arrived in Madrid 10 years ago from Switzerland. He says that being a migrant and black has had a big impact on him when it comes to finding a place to live. He remembers that when he arrived, he tried to rent a flat with 3 other roommates with very high salaries. As I came from Switzerland, I had a Swiss number, and the owner thought I was Swiss, Digne said. When we met in person, he saw that I was black, even though everything was already arranged to give me a flat, and they said no. That's definitely, 1, disappointing, but 2, not surprising from a Spanish person. I'm sorry to say. He says that that they're very anti-black because of the whole history of what was it called again? I can't remember what it was. All the people who came across the Mediterranean and settled there, and then they had a whole basically ethnic cleansing to kick them all out when they were free. I can't remember what they're called right now, but basically the people that are Moroccans now. They used to own the southern portion of
the Moors.
Spain.
The Moors.
Yeah, the Moors.
The Moors.
Yeah, the Moors. They had a big anti-Moors movement when they were united as Spain, and they've basically never gotten rid of that idea of trying to ethnically cleanse and keep Spain clean, even though I think it's almost impossible.
Iconoclast.
Yeah, it's almost impossible these days to, especially in southern Spain, to be completely Spanish. They tried their hardest, though, to kick every single little minuscule drop of Moorish out of Spain. Anyways, he says that they first told him that they had to check the payslips again, which they had already approved because they could be falsified. Oh, you're black, so suddenly you're lying about every single information you've given us because you didn't tell us you were black. If you told us you were black, we could have denied you outright first. Instead of going through all this process, now we think you've just falsified everything. Later, after not giving him an answer or any reason for the days, the real estate agent confessed to him, the truth is that color is a problem. Like what, the roommates also don't want a black roommate? I have no idea. It's terrible. That is why she's at the demonstration today. To raise awareness that migrants are here working, contributing to our society, and we have the right to housing. She stresses that discrimination is a real problem, and it's almost impossible for migrants to access housing. If you do not have resources, it is impossible. Even if you do, you cannot because of racism. You could be the richest motherfucker in the neighborhood, and they'll still say no because they don't want your money. If it's touched your black skin, oh, it's cursed. She says that it is time for the state to see housing as a right, like healthcare and all the others, and the act to protect it. Neighborhoods are for those who live in them, not for vulture funds or for those who speculate. Housing is a right, and we will continue to fight for it. We're not going to leave, she stresses. Christina Gomez, 40, is attending this Sunday's demonstration, or last Sunday, I should say, with some neighbors. She is part of a collective bargaining process of the inhabitants of Tribulet 7. A building that has been sold to Elex Rental Housing, another vulture fund, I'm sure. Since then, there have been 3 round tables conveyed by the directors of the Vulture Fund. I don't understand why they call for negotiating tables when they have nothing to negotiate. We are stuck because the only option they put on the table for us is to leave what has been our home for years, she adds. At least 5 residents have already left the building. Others have stayed with old contracts, to which the new regulations do not apply, and others with more recent contracts. Elex Rental Housing thesis continues to be that we must all leave the building, says Gomez. They want to just completely get rid of all their tenants and replace them. At 63, Pepsa Torres is not the archetype of a flatmate that people usually have in mind. Even so, today she shares her house with lava piece with 3 other roommates. Otherwise, she says she would not have enough to pay rent. The whole house belongs to a big landlord, she says. Walking stick in hand, they're surrounded by young people who jump around and harangue that the housing law is shit. She says that in her building, they have expelled the historical residents of the neighborhood, older people who have sustained the life of this place. I'm here because the neighbors cannot continue to support speculation with housing. It cannot be that 70% of our salary is used to get a rental, and it cannot be that a room costs 400 euros. It cannot be that there are big landlords and empty houses when the streets are full of people who have been expelled, said Torres, with a voice slightly trembling with rage. She assures that the housing law approved by Pedro Sanchez's government was not what people needed. We want a public housing law that takes into account the social right to housing, that takes control of the big owners, and that can be applied and is not boycotted as it is in Madrid by the regional government. He believes that it is contradictory to talk about social justice and the rule of law in Spain while housing continues to be a privilege, not a right. So, like many people in Spain, there are calls for the state to take back the law, change it to a right, and let people stay in the houses they've been living their entire life instead of suddenly, it's not even that their rents are getting increased. They are given the choice of either evicting or getting arrested. They're just given an eviction notice. We want to clear out this whole place and we want to move in people, or maybe they don't want to move on anyone. They just want to keep on selling and reselling the houses in a speculation market, right? What they're saying, and never ever anybody living in the houses ever. Just this whole apartment complex is just going to be traded around, money laundering, whatever it's being used for, and never actually being used. So that's the news coming out of Spain, and I'm sure a lot of other places in the world, all over the world.
Got to make it illegal. Got to make it illegal to invest in more than 400 housing units in any place.
I think there should be like a 10 housing limit or something. You can only have 10.
Corporations care about their stock price. They care about their stock price, and they care about their stock price. That's the 3 things they care about. Their stock price. They don't give a shit about anything else. Not one other thing. Except corporations are evil.
100%.
Very nature, they're evil. Working for one sucks. The only people that are happy about a corporation are the people at the top who are running it. All right, so I did send you a video, which has to do with this day in history, and we're going to cover the weather. First, we're going to do a little update on the weather this week, as this is from BringMeTheNews.com. First snow of the season, widespread frost coming to Minnesota. It's kind of typical for this time of year. Nothing unusual about snow in October, but it is the first snow of the year. Here comes the first round of what National Weather Service describes as conversational snow in Minnesota this fall. What is conversational snow, you may ask? The NWS Duluth didn't provide a definition, but it's easy to surmise that it's not that serious. But it's fun to talk about it anyway. That's because we're talking very, very small amounts.
I can't
barely
do a Minnesotan accent. Never mind. It's gonna snow.
What's that? Minnesota accent?
Whatever. I do that weird thing.
It's gonna snow out there in the woods.
Yeah,
it's gonna snow out there in the woods in Minnesota.
I've got to take out my.
That's because we're talking very
socks.
Small amounts, barely a quarter of an inch that sticks to far northern eastern corner of Minnesota. Just listen to Tim Wall's talk. He's a Nebraska Minnesotan, but yeah, he's kind of a Minnesota guy. But since it's the first snow we're seeing in the latter half of 2024, you can bet your bottom dollar we're talking about it.
Hey, hell yeah!
It comes with a wider cold front that will be passing through Minnesota and could bring much needed rain to parts of the state, as well as the first widespread frost of the season. In today's forecast, BMTN meteorologist Sven Sundgaard, there's your Minnesota name right there, Sven Sundgaard, lots of Scandinavians in Minnesota, has the latest on the potential first snowfall of the season in northern Minnesota. So there's the snow, this week's weather, and then we're going to go on to the misinformation from all the fascists trying to kill people, apparently, because misinformation during weather events kills people.
Yes.
But one party in the United States doesn't give a flying fuck about any other people except their own power, and they just keep spreading misinformation. Guess which party it is? It's the Republicans. I won't let you guess. Lying about the weather and lying about the government. That's their favorite thing now. This is from factcheck.org, which is basically just opens a Republican Party branch for all the lies they tell every day. I'm not necessarily all that freaking excited about Democrats either, but I know the Republicans are complete fascists nowadays. Mm-hmm. They're just fascists. Have you noticed that Dick Cheney left the Republican Party? Dick Cheney. They're fascists. They're really fascists. They're really fucking awful people who want to take over your lives and tell you what to think. Just think about that. People that think conspiracies exist are the ones engaging in conspiracies themselves. It's called projection. Anyway, back to the story. The 2024 hurricane season, this is from Fact Check, so it's going to be what's the word? It's going to be relieving you of your idiotic claims about the weather if you pay attention. And anyway, and about disasters, if you're paying attention, instead of just going, oh my God, the government's awful, they're out to kill me. Yeah, right. If the government was out to kill you, they would kill you. They would just kill you.
They would just straight up do it.
The Indians, remember?
Yeah.
The government want to kill the Indians, they killed them. Okay? They're not going to fuck around with the weather.
Well, they're still here, but yeah, they tried their hardest.
Okay.
I believe what they did is they killed 8,000 bison in 1 year, and then they're like, try eating now, assholes, and then...
It was millions of bison, right? Yeah. It's like, the government wants to kill you, they're going to kill you. It's not going to be some fucking little controversy.
They'll start shitting on the cows
and,
start destroying all the cornfields. Don't worry, you'll see.
It's like, if we want to invade a country, we invade it. We don't go, let's play around with the edges. No, we got the army to do it. We invade. Anyway, the 2024 hurricane season has brought with it a deluge of conspiracy theories and false or misleading claims about the storms that have devastated some parts of the country and killed hundreds of people. Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida on September 26. It was a Category 4 hurricane and moved up the East Coast as a tropical storm, bringing floods and strong winds through the southern Appalachians. Hurricane Milton hit Florida about 2 weeks later, October 9th, as a Category 3 storm. Those that are interviewing 2 weeks have seen a flood of misinformation on social media from defendant J. Trump as he campaigns again for president. Below are some of the claims. Some of the claims we've addressed so far. We just emphasize that word, some of the claims. They're probably not even in the top 5%, right? We will update this article as necessary, it says. Okay. In his continued attack on the federal response to Hurricane Helene, Trump falsely said that no helicopters, no help were sent to the affected areas for days, blaming his Democratic opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris. Of course, first of all, the Vice President has no power, zero power, none. Vice President does nothing. as a job, official job, except break ties in the Senate. That's it. That's it. Vice president's entire job, break ties in the Senate. So how is the vice president to blame? Have no idea. There's plenty of evidence that helicopters have been used and that federal, state, and local disaster recovery teams have responded to help victims of the storm. So it's a complete made-up fucking bullshit lie based on nothing but shit he pulled out of his ass. But since a lot of people vote for this moron, we have to debunk every stupid lie that comes out of his shithole. I mean, his mouth. Anyway. Experts say people cannot create a Experts say people cannot create or meaningfully alter hurricanes through existing weather modification techniques. That has not stopped the deluge of social media posts basically claiming or implying that hurricanes Helene and Milton were intentionally created. Oh yes, we want to destroy our country for no reason. Arr! Intentionally created for what reason? There has to be a motive. Anyway, hurricanes... They say they were intentionally created, steered, or otherwise controlled by someone. Among those adding fuel to those claims was no surprise here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or as I call her, Restraining Order Barbie.
Yeah.
A Republican from Georgia, which has been affected by the storms. The Federal Aviation Administration regularly restricts the airspace over areas affected by natural disasters to allow for relief efforts to take place. This routine activity has sparked misleading posts online that claim volunteer drone operators were banned from helping in recovery efforts for Hurricane Helene. Oh yeah. Banned by who? Anyway, volunteers can use the restricted airspace as long as they coordinate with the agencies conducting relief work, according to the FAA. Or the FBA. Who the hell is the FBA? I have no idea. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. Yeah. Spit it out, Roger. Social media posts misleadingly claim that Trump's Project 2025 will end the Federal Emergency Management Agency and provide zero federal help disaster victims. Project 25, which is being led and funded by the Conservative Heritage Foundation, is Trump's plan. It is Trump's plan. I don't know why they keep acting like it isn't. This is fact check trying to cover Trump's ass. But anyway, there's no evidence that Trump would end FEMA. In fact, his administration pins it out. That's actually not true. Trump borrowed money from FEMA to work to use on his border wall. That's a fact. So let's just bury this little thing under shit that Trump could definitely fucking do. Okay, that's not even that to be enough fact check is ridiculous. This is why these fact check organizations are failing. Well, you know, Trump wouldn't end FEMA. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. He would. I guarantee he would. I guarantee you in a second he would. How would you put that beyond his reach? I mean, sorry, that fact check, you can just get rid of that one. As of October 8th, FEMA has provided more than $210 million in immediate assistance to communities affected by Hurricane Helene, as well as the Department of Homeland Security Secretary has described as the start of a multi-billion-dollar, multi-year recovery. Social media posts and Trump have falsely claimed that the storm victims are only getting $750. And misleadingly compare it to foreign aid, which if $750 is basically the money they give you right there on the spot because you're homeless at the time and you don't have any food. So they give you $150, no strings attached. That's what they do. And that's not the last money they might give you. Okay? So that's a lie. FEMA said that no funds intended for disaster relief have been used to pay for programs that respond to illegal immigration. But Trump has falsely claimed that Biden administration stole money for hurricane recovery and spent it on housing for people in the U.S. illegally. That didn't happen, but Trump actually did steal money from FEMA. So he's projecting again. Project 25 proposes dismantling the national... Well, Project 2025 does propose. Okay, we're skipping this one because obviously they didn't read Project 2025. The project proposes that NOAA be dismantled and many of its functions eliminated, sent to other agencies, privatized, or placed under control of states and territories. Climate experts told us that the project's proposals would hamper, but not end, the NHC's operations. Oh, okay. That's right. They're not going to end it. Not this time. Why are you both sidesing this? Seriously, there's actual facts written down in Project 25 that says they're going to do this, and these people are just saying, well, they're not really going to destroy it, Noah. They're just going to hamper it. Oh, that's much better. Yay, they're hampering them. Let's make their job harder. That's quite an accomplishment. I'm sorry. Once again, factcheck.org and its rush to be both-siders has decided that people taking Project 25 at its word is not necessarily what you should be doing. Oh, okay. So, factcheck.org solidifies that I will never use them as a source again. All right. And there's your story on the weather, as factcheck.org shits the bed. It does a good job of fact-checking the bullshitters out there, but then it goes back and goes, oh, we got to both sides this article. Oh, we got to both sides it. We got to say that, oh, the Democrats are saying misleading things about Project 2025, which does not kill people, by the way. Saying misleading things about your opponent's political position.
Yeah. We're talking about the weather here. That's all we're talking about here. Yeah. Keep on topic, right? And they can't keep on topic. Yeah. They want to add something else.
They go on. Yeah. They did 2 fact checks on Project 2025 claims that were actually true. They're actually true. I don't know why they actually. Trump Project 25 will end the Federal Emergency Management Agency. I don't know if it'll end it, but they'll definitely be stealing money from it like you did when he was president. Jesus, I don't know. Hello, factcheck.org. In your hurry to both sides of this article, you totally missed the fucking point. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, well, from complete and total mishandling of information to some guitar sounds. Right, let me do this real quick. Okay. So, according to The Guardian and The Observer, by Dela Alberch, a newly found Jimi Hendrix tapes is giving fans the chance to own the song that only they can listen to. So, 4 never-before-heard demos will be sold at auction, along with documents rescued from former personal assistant to the star's manager. In 54 years since Jimi Hendrix's death, every part of his archive has been mined for fresh material. Recordings of long-forgotten gigs, obscure B-sides, and abandoned demos have all been released. But it appears that not everything the American rock guitarist, singer, and composer recorded has seen the light of day. Newly unearthed master tapes with never before heard tracks are now up for sale in an auction of Hendrix's memorabilia. The unreleased 1968 demos, which are said to be very different in sound and length from better-known versions, run for 7 minutes and include Up From the Skies, Ain't No Tellin', Little Miss Lover, and Stone Free. The tape alone is expected to sell for up to £200,000. I don't know what that is in USD, but it's probably around the same number. Mark Holcomb, music consultant for the auctioneer prop store, said the person who buys them will have the kudos of having your own Jimi Hendrix songs which only you can listen to. Unless you rip the tapes and then put it on the internet somewhere. But then I guess that would make the owning of the tapes less, right? The value of them. Hendrix was a virtuoso who pioneered the explosive possibilities of the electric guitar in music that fused rock, soul, blues, and jazz. His classic hits include Purple Haze, Foxy Lady, and All Along the Watchtower. He died in 1970, aged just 27, after an apparent overdose. The sale includes repeated bills from a Harley Street doctor made out to Hendrix and members of his band, and the Jimi Hendrix Experience. His band, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Holcomb said, "You can only imagine what that was for in the late 1960s. I think it was for their drugs." The collection is being sold by Patricia Trixie Sullivan, who was the personal assistant to Hendrix's manager, Mike Jeffrey, between 1966 and 1973. She dealt with his musicians, booking sessions at the recording studio, and creating tour itineraries. While overseeing the day-to-day running of the music mogul's business empire, Sullivan accompanied the musicians on tours worldwide. After Jeffrey's death in 1973, she collected the material from his office in central London. Bailiffs had ransacked it, taking away furniture among other items that they deemed valuable, but leaving behind the demo and master tapes among other archived material. Everything has remained in her possession ever since. Having come to light earlier this year, this is the first time any of it has come to auction. There are more than 50 rare tapes, including master recordings from Hendrix, as well as bands including The Animals and Soft Machine. Some of the original boxes bear titles in Hendrix's own neat handwriting. 3 of the unreleased demos, Up From the Skies, Ain't No Telling, and Little Miss Lover, are of tracks from the Experience's second album, Axis, Bold as Love, while Stone Free was the B-side to Hey Joe, Hendrix's first UK single release in 1966. Hochman said, "These versions have never been heard before, circulated or broadcasted, are very different in sound and length than more common examples." That's not true. They've been heard by at least his manager, otherwise he wouldn't have owned them.
Engineer.
Yeah, and maybe an audio engineer and the band in the room with him when he recorded them.
Record company executives.
Yeah, the people who were, they were listening, say, "Oh yeah, let's put this guy on our, But they haven't been heard since probably 1970. Let's give it that much, okay? unless the Sullivan was also listening to them. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna put on some Hendrix demos for this party I'm having." They're a lot tighter and smoother. You can hear more guitar, which is obviously what Hendrix was famous for. The experts who have visited and heard experts have come and visited to hear the recording, so it has never been heard before. They just listened to it yesterday. And heard the recordings, all agree that these are far superior to all the other versions of these tracks. Okay, wow, they're really selling up. These are the superior versions, the original demos. The auction also includes dry cleaning bills for a green velvet jacket, a gold suit, and orange trousers, among Hendrix's other trademark psychedelic costumes inspired by London's Carnaby Street. A note from Hendrix's record company informs him that he's being evicted from Ringo Starr's London flat because there has been so many complaints from other tenants. Oh, that's interesting. He lived in Ringo Starr's flat. There are payslips from Jimi Hendrix Experience and even the band's first ever contract. One document shows that they were guaranteed to receive up to 7 figures for one-off performances, although half would go to Jeffrey. Man, a 50% cut deal? Tragic. Among other documents in the US, form filled out by Hendrix requesting a birth certificate in order to get a passport, tour itineraries, and details of financial dealings. 3 collectors have flown over from the US from Europe just to examine the collection, while 3 documentary production companies have looked at the material for possible documentaries and dramas. One planned project is about Hendrix's life and his time in London. But whoever ends up owning the recordings will need to negotiate their potential use with the Hendrix estate. Failing that, they can just enjoy them in privacy of their own home. So the Hendrix estate isn't licensing them. You still have to license the use of them. So you can own them and listen to them in the privacy. But if you want to actually use them in like a distribution, you're going to have to ask for permission to license them. The live stream auction is to be held in London on the 15th of November by Pop Store, specialist in film, TV, and music memorabilia. So if you have a lot of cash, up to 200K I think is what they're saying it for, and it's an auction so it can go higher. I guess find yourself in London by the 15th of November. And also, if you have that much money, please donate to the Before Coffee. Anybody with that much money is watching this right now. Give us $2. Okay, but that's the story of these never before heard tapes that are supposedly better than the originals. I'm sure they are, and I'll try to remember about the story on the 15th of November to see who won them out, so you can all go chastise them and go, "Hey, let us hear the tapes! Give us the tapes! Give us the tapes!" That's my culture segment. On to this day in history.
Yeah, and I need to do another list of left-handed guitar players again. Speaking of Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if there's 13 that you can think of famous. But anyway, on to today's in history. Yes, this very important day in history. Anyway, 1644, English Quaker and advocate of religious freedom William Penn was born. He oversaw the founding of the American Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, he got a grant from the King of England to become Mr. Big Shot landowner, and he got all that land for himself. And the whole entire state of Pennsylvania was once William Penn's, like his kingdom, so to speak. But anyway, his birthday today. Happy birthday, William Penn. 1806, French troops under Napoleon smashed the outdated Prussian army led by Charles William Ferdinand at the Battle of Jena. Outdated. What, did they not have gunpowder? I don't know. 1908, the Chicago Cubs beat Detroit Tigers to win the team's second World Series championship. They did not claim their third title until 2016. 108 years between titles. 1926, English humorist A.A. Milne published Winnie the Pooh, a children's book featuring the adventures of a honey-loving bear and his friends, including Eeyore and Piglet. And don't forget Tigger. 1936.
Don't forget Tigger.
That's what Tigger do best. 1936, during the Spanish Civil War, the first group of 500 trainees for the International Brigades arrived in Albacete, Spain. I said that wrong, I know. 1943, some 300 Jewish laborers in the Sobibor extermination camp in Nazi-occupied Poland staged a revolt, killing several SS supervisors. Good for them. And Ukrainian guards, many inmates, died, and the camp was subsequently dismantled. But they just didn't sit there and take it.
Nope.
1944, German Field Marshal Edmund Rommel ended his life by drinking poison following the discovery of his connection to the conspiracy to assassinate old Adolf Hitler. And Erwin Rommel was probably the best general in the German army. Had to kill himself. And anyway, if you want to watch The Valkyries, that's a good movie about that with Tom Cruise. That's a really good movie about the assassination attempt of Hitler. They tried to blow his ass up. 1947, American test pilot Chuck Yeager became the first person to break the sound barrier and live. They keep saying he was the first person to break the sound barrier. I know for a fact he wasn't. Plenty of people broke the sound barrier on their way to becoming a big splat on the side of a mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
1964, Baptist minister and social activist Martin Luther King was named the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize cited for his work involving civil rights and social justice. 1973, Prime Minister Thanom Kittikachorn of Thailand was forced to step down following huge public demonstrations, and I know I pronounced that wrong too. 1994, Nguyen Mahfouz, the 82-year-old novelist and 1988 winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, was stabbed by Islamic militants in Cairo, but survived. You're 82 and you got stabbed. You've been living right. If you survived it, right? You did something right. If you can survive being stabbed at 82, I don't think I could survive it. I'd probably just die from shock. 2007, the reality TV series Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered. I guess that's a big deal for somebody. On 2012, the subject of our video today, the 2 days after arriving at Los Angeles International Airport, the Space Shuttle Endeavour reached its final destination, the California Space Center. Its 12-mile journey through the city had required trees to be cut down and signs to be removed. Our featured event on 1066. What happened in England on 1066? What do you guess? What do you think?
The dissolution of somebody. The First Crusade.
Not
I don't know.
Not the Crusades are a little bit before that. The Battle of Hastings.
Oh.
The Battle of Hastings. The Crusades took The Crusades took place in the Middle East. Or on the
Well,
way
you didn't
to
tell me a
Palestine.
location. You just... Did you?
Oh, I said England. England,
okay.
yeah. Fought this day in 1066. King Harold II of England was defeated by the invading army of William, Duke of Normandy, at the Norman
that's when the
Conquest,
Normans
establishing
took over.
Normans as rulers of England.
And everyone had to start
William the
speaking French.
Conqueror. Yeah, William the Conqueror got his name, the Conqueror, before he was just William of Normandy. And after that, everybody in England was named Norman. Everybody was just required. Everybody was named Norman for like years and years and years. Yeah. Our featured biography is the birthday of Dwight Eisenhower. Oh, yes. Commander of the Allied Forces in World War II and President of the United States. Dwight Eisenhower was born October 14th in 1890 in Denison, Texas, which we drove through on our way to Dallas. When we were in Oklahoma, we had to go through Dallas. Go to Dallas. We had to drive through Denison every single time, and there's a big sign that says birthplace of Dwight Eisenhower. Well, his birthday today in 1890. He died March 28th, 1969 in Washington, D.C. at the age of 78. Other birthdays today: Hannah Arendt, American political scientist; Ralph Lauren, American fashion designer; Cliff Richard, British singer; and Usher's birthday. He was born in 1978. Ralph Lauren was born in 1939. Hannah Arendt, born in 1906. And Cliff Richard was born in 1940. Usher, born in 78, is turning 46 today. Happy birthday to Usher. And national days today. It is National Real Sugar Day. It is Columbus Day, the day that Columbus stumbled upon basically Hispaniola, which is modern day Dominican Republic and Haiti. He stumbled upon it and decided, I discovered this, and these people don't even know where they live. They're clueless. Anyway, Columbus Day today. It's also Native American Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day, as they call it in some states. It's National Kick Butt Day, which I had to look up. It says something about the day aims to motivate marketers, advertisers, and those in the business world to work smarter and harder. National Kick Butt Day is to help advertisers and marketers to work harder? No, we don't need advertisers and marketers working harder. You work hard enough at this. Take the day off. Don't kick any butt today. Advertisers and marketers. Yeah, ruining the country forever. Anyway, advertising. It's National Online Bank Day also today, and that's the days for today. National Online Bank for October 14th, 2024 on Before Real Sugar.
Before Real Sugar.
It's the only food item on the thing.
All right, this has been Allison here for International World Migratory Bird Day. For the United Nations International Observance of raising awareness of migratory birds and the need for international cooperation to conserve them. They are useful for identifying actions on protecting water sources and aquatic ecosystems. So support your local, or I guess internationally local, migratory bird, and make sure that they have a place to nest and migrate to, and also come back to. And yesterday was another international day, which was very fitting for what's been going on recently. International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. So that's right, listen to the people who tell you to evacuate, because the hurricane is real and it is killing people. Make sure you're prepared to adapt to the risks of the disaster and strikes in different developments. And
that's true.
More international
Almost all of the death from hurricanes can be prevented if you just evacuate.
Yeah.
I mean, the FEMA wouldn't be looking for people in trees and shit. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, that's our international days. This has been Allison. We will see you tomorrow for Good Tuesday News Day, where we're going to talk about all the good stuff that's been happening in this week and last week. Anything we've missed, we'll find it for you and let you know that there's still good stuff happening out there. It's not all doom and gloom. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Turn on this notification bell so you know when we go live. And of course, like this video if you enjoyed learning about both siderism and the terrible housing market in Spain. Comment down below how much you would like to own a house and pay for. And let's go ahead and go to our mic drop moment.
And shout out.
This is a very
out to
cool
Los
video.
Angeles
I saw a little bit
Times.
when I was slotting it in here.
Yeah.
Very good, cool time-lapse video.
This was 11 years ago today. The last space
I just
shuttle gets put in
graduated high
off-
school when this video came out.
Wow.
Time flies.
And they're going to put it in mothballs at the National Space Museum in Los Angeles.
For everyone out there, mothballing
County.
is when you basically take it off commissioned and it's no longer going to be used and it's going to be in storage. But it's not useless. You can still take it out and use it again. Right? It's still in a state where you can still use it. That's
I
what
suppose.
mothballing specifically is.
Although they'll have to take it back to the airport, strap it on the back of a 747, and fly it to Florida to launch it. Or they could launch it from California.
I wonder if they tried putting like an engine on it and just flying it itself, but they're like, nah, it's too complicated to make this thing actually fly in the atmosphere.
It's a nice glider. It's a glider when it hits the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Look at it just scraping by those people's houses.
Yeah, it's so scary.
Yeah, right. And look at the people having a party. Like everybody's having a block party around it.
This is the
around that
impressive part
tree.
here. There's one tree in the way, and they just like scoot around it. All right, we got it.
Not my favorite tree. Don't kill my favorite tree. You can get around it. And it took all day.
I bet you they had to plan this for months. They had to look for all the perfect wide roads they can move through, right? Where there's nothing in the way.
Yeah. Everybody's got pictures on their shitty phones from back then, right?
I was this close to it.
Nobody had.
I could have touched it if it wasn't 5 feet in the air.
Damn, I should have taken a picture with a real camera, not my crappy 2012 phone.
Well, to be fair, smartphones were out by then, so they weren't terrible.
I suppose, yeah. I still had a crappy phone, so I mean,
It took them an entire day.
still in
Look at that. Sunset and sunrise and sunset.
There you go.
Good job, all those engineers that didn't destroy a tree.
Well, looks like it didn't rain again, so I think I should be able.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.